All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Ebonie again, a.k.a. Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style, and today we have Benine with us on the line. How are you, Benine?
I'm good. How are you?
I am awesome. Thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today. You guys, this is a holiday that she's taking time to speak with you, so appreciate her and listen to the end. And for those of you that do, you will have an opportunity to get a complimentary gift. So please stick around and see what Benine wants to share with us today. Benine, can you start us off just by sharing one motivational quote that really inspires you, something that really gets you going?
So it's not really a quote, but it's like something that I personally live by. I feel like we need each other to grow. We need each other to build. And it's just something that I've literally based everything that I do on. And it's what keeps me going, because it's like you can't be able to succeed on your own. So that's just, I guess, one of my words to live by.
Yeah, and you cannot succeed on your own. You definitely need teamwork, especially with the bigger your goal gets. You
Yeah.
know, it's one thing to be self-motivated, to push yourself and to say, I'm going to do this, and give yourself all the self-talk necessary to take the action steps. But at the end of the day, the larger your dream grows, your vision grows, the more likely it is that you're going to need people to help support you. And that is so key, so that you don't become overwhelmed, frustrated, and bogged down. Can you talk about how that played a role in your own life? And maybe talk about a time when you didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you even had to overcome some significant obstacles, some unforeseen circumstances, but you were able to see yourself through and bring that goal or that dream to fruition.
Okay. So there's been actually so many times that this has happened, where it just like keeps reminding me that it's really, really important to have like that tribe around you that really genuinely supports you and encourages you, and you can reach out to them. And I do remember, I think it was around like 2011 or 12. I was in my second or third year of college. I had just transferred schools. I'm still trying to figure myself out, because I'm under 21 at this point, and you know, life gets to you. You get influenced by like all these people around you. And I was really trying to find myself in my relationship with Christ, especially. And I feel like that's kind of what helped me. Is I have an older sister, an older biological sister, but I had all these other older girls around my sister's age that like I considered my sisters. So I was able to just reach out to each and every one of them and be like, hey, I'm going through this. I really don't know how to deal with it. My relationship with God isn't like the best right now, and I don't know where it's going, but I kind of need that guidance, because I feel like he's telling me like we need to rebuild. So if it wasn't for them, and there's like probably 5 to 10 of them that they're still all heavily involved in my lives, in my life. And, you know, I was able to reach out to them, and they supported me. They prayed with me. They did Bible study with me. And it's helped me become the woman that I am today. And that's why like I do all that I do to be that older sister for other young girls too.
That's beautiful. And when we are under the age of 21, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, they're saying you need to figure this out, select your college major. Oh, and by the way, you're going to be graduating in 2 years. I hope you figured it out. All this money that you spent for college classes, I hope that you figured it out, because you're going to have to pay back student loans, and you're going to have to hurry up and find a job. You might have to get out of your parents' house. You know, there's so many decisions that need to be made at that age, and you're just beyond the point of being babies. You know, you're not that fully developed into being self-aware and understanding who you are, you know? So it could be very difficult. I know that when I worked with college students, oftentimes they would come into the career center and they would say things to me like, Ebonie, you know, I am in this major that my parents selected for me. I can't stand it. It's racking up the bills, and I want out. And they don't understand that I don't want to be a medical doctor. I want to be an actress. And they're forced to make these decisions based on the parent saying, well, if you're going to continue being in college and you want me to pay for it, you're not going to be an artist. You're not going to be an actress. You're not going to be a painter, you know?
Right.
So it becomes, how can you really flourish in your true self when you have all these external pressures telling you what you should or should not do? And in the meantime, you really don't know yourself well enough. So I think that many times really sitting down and thinking about, what is it that I know lights me up? No matter if it's going to pay the bills or not, we can figure that out. But what is it that really lights me up that I can bring into this world? That's usually where it starts. And that's where it started for a lot of the young students that I would coach. And then they flourished into majors and in careers that they actually enjoy. What would you say to those people that are stuck where they have a dream in mind, but they don't understand how they're going to bring that dream to fruition because the people around them are not supportive of their dream?
Okay. So for me personally, mine is obviously more faith-based, and it's, you know, my relationship with God is literally the foundation of everything that I do. And it's one of those things where having that relationship has truly helped me figure out what I'm meant to do. Because even when I was in college, I did start out with as a chemistry major, and I loved it. You know, it wasn't like forced upon me by my parents or anything like that, but something just didn't feel right. And then I guess in my final year before I was supposed to graduate with a whole chemistry degree, I switched to sociology, and I hadn't told my mom. So I told her after the fact, and she was just like, what? Like, are you okay? Like, why wouldn't you tell me? You know, it was just like, I was like, I didn't tell you until after I did it because I knew you would have this reaction. But here I am today, and I could never picture myself in a lab after getting a chemistry degree. Like, that's just not me. And it really took a whole lot of peeling back layers of just crying out to God and saying, God, like, what am I meant to do here? And it just starts with your passion.
Right.
You figure out what you're passionate about, what, like you said, lights you up, and then you go from there. It doesn't matter who supports you or who doesn't encourage you, because at the end of the day, it's not fulfilling them or their purpose. It's your purpose that you're worried about. So that's just how I started. And even to this day, like, sometimes I need more guidance, and I'm still praying about it. I'm like, God, what's my next step? Like, I don't know what else to do from here. So it's okay to be lost within the journey as well.
Yes. And it is a journey. None of us have arrived unless you
No.
are dying today. You are still growing, right?
Yeah.
And it's not meant to be super, super easy. And in all actuality, it would probably be a very boring life if you didn't have any challenges in it. So it's really learning how to embrace the process of growing. And too often we look at what's going on currently as being a lot bigger than what it actually is. Because if you think back on those times when you went through difficulty, now that you've gotten through it, looking back at it is like, well, that really wasn't a big deal. You know, we tend to make it a lot bigger than what it actually is instead of enjoying the moment that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your social media influence, because that's definitely different from being in a chemistry lab. So what was your intention behind wanting to influence ladies around the world in a positive manner?
So kind of like what we just talked about, it's just more so I've gone through so many different situations, good and bad, you know, and it's like everybody kind of wants to just share their highlight reel and not share the real stuff, the relatable stuff, the stuff that, like, I might be too embarrassed to talk about, but I know someone else is going through it. And I feel like that's really the key to life. It's why we were created as humans who need each other. It's because I could have gone through something and you need advice for that something, and you either are going through it right now or you might be going through it in the future. So I started blogging because I felt like I had a lot to share about my experiences, and also because of how the women that are older than me have shared with me. So it's like, why not continue that? Why not help others who are going through the same exact situation? And just making it more relatable and not kind of just like shoving, you know, Christianity down anyone's throat or anything like that, but just kind of saying, hey, this is how I got through it, and you can get through it too, because I'm still kicking, I'm still breathing.
Yes. And when you can live by example of this is what worked for me and this is how it worked for me, people are more likely to embrace that than for you to say, well, you need to be doing this, this, and that. And if you don't do it, well, then you're going to get this, this, and this. Like, nobody wants to be told that they're going to be doomed to hell and punished. you know, that's not encouraging. But if they can see, okay, well, this is what worked for her. Well, let me see. Maybe I could give it a try too. Maybe I could look at things from this perspective. And that's so much more motivating and seen in a more positive light because you're not cramming something down someone's throat. Tell me about an experience that you had where maybe you weren't motivated to blog that particular day or make a post that particular day because you were down in the dumps and you chose to do it anyway. And how did you feel after that?
I'm just trying to think. Well, yeah, so there was a time where it's just a really personal post for me because it was about my dad and, you know, the anniversary of his passing. And I woke up that morning and I was just like, you know what? I don't need to write about it. Like, I'm over it. I'm fine. It's not a big deal. Maybe I could just like journal and keep it moving. But something just kept bothering me and just kept telling me, just do it, just write it. And finally I did. And a lot of people, the feedback was just overwhelming. Just like, not like sympathy feedback, but it was just more so, wow, like I had never read about, you know, suffering a loss in that kind of perspective. And it was just really encouraging. And it just showed me, you know, listen to, you know, that direction that you get, that sense of, you know, motivation when you're not really motivated. Like, go for it still, because at the end of the day, if you don't need it, somebody else needs it. And they may tell you, they may not tell you, but it doesn't matter. Just go for it and do it.
Yeah. And there are days when you don't necessarily feel like showing up. And in those particular days, when you do make those type of posts, you realize that human connection is so much more important sometimes than how you're feeling. And they're not looking at it the same way that you're looking at it. You're looking at it like, oh my gosh, should I publish this? Why would I put this out there about myself? Why would I be this transparent? And when they read it, they're like, oh, hallelujah. I'm glad, you know, somebody decided that they wanted to really be transparent and real today. Tired of all the pretty pictures of, you know, fruit and good looking food. You know, somebody decided they want to be real today, you know, because they're going through some stuff of their own. So I think that many times as a social media influencer, we have to remember that there's a really delicate balance of putting out our pretty pictures and pretty thoughts and also showing that human side of us as well. I often, when I'm posting health related advice, I will still talk about the fact that I eat processed junk food, because I don't want you coming to me thinking that I'm 100% clean eater and I got it all together, because no, that is not the picture I want to portray. And I'm here telling you that you should eat healthy and exercise. I'm not always eating healthy and exercising, and that's my real life. I'm not going to judge you when you come to me and you say, Ebonie, you know, I know I'm trying to lose 50 pounds, but girl, I had like 3 slices of red velvet cake today. You know what I mean? We all have to go through those cravings, and it's unrealistic for me to say to you that you have to be 100% this way and that I am 100% this way. So sometimes putting out that realness, people feel that sense of connection, as opposed to if I never talked about those things. Would you say that with social media becoming more and more popular, particularly amongst the younger generation that's growing up in the social media space? For example, my 12-year-old son and 9-year-old daughter are constantly inundated with, it's okay to be on social media and create videos of yourself and put yourself out there and make new online friends. How do you feel that that plays a role in the development of people as time persists? Because, you know, you hear those people that talk about social media is bad for you because it's an addiction. And then you hear people talk about social media is awesome because you're able to establish connections with other people around the world. So what is your take on that as a social media influencer?
I feel like social media, it really depends on how you use it. You know, it's good and bad. Good in a sense that, like you said, you know, you're able to connect with people around the world. You're able to, if you have a platform, use it for positivity. Use it for something that can bring somebody else further, you know, that can uplift someone, that has some substance, some purpose, some meaning. But then there's the negative side where it's like we get distracted in all these people's different highlight reels and just materialistic things. And um, we get caught up in comparison because of that. So
Right.
it has a good and a bad side. It really just depends on you, and you need to have that discernment to know how to use it.
Right.
So
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And, you know, I was interviewing a lady not too long ago that said that she got off of social media for a year and discovered once she got off that she really didn't have a circle of people around her. So within that year time span, she decided that she was going to form connections in her local community. And sometimes when we're talking about support, as we were talking about earlier, when it comes to your dream or your goal that you want to get lifted off the ground and you know that you can't do it by yourself, sometimes having that local support system is important, because it's all well and fine to go online and connect with people all around the world. I do it every day. But what if one day the internet broke down?
right.
Are you not going to have people in your immediate circle that you can turn to for support? You know what I mean? So how much dependency do we actually have on social media? You know, so I think there's a good balance that can be had between your offline time and your online time. And I think I'm growing in that every day. And the more that I grow in my online business, I feel like it pushes me to be on social media more often, but I have to have checks and balances too. I have to say, okay, right now, what I'm doing on social media has absolutely nothing to do with my business, and I probably could take my kids to the park, you know? So it's having that mental check in place as well. Definitely. How can people follow you on social media? I know that you have an Instagram account, and you also have a website, and all of that information is going to be in the contact, in the description box. And people can collaborate with you and work with you on different ideas that maybe they have that are similar to yours. You guys that are listening, you guys are welcome to contact her. What's the best method so far that people can contact you?
So I would definitely say either DM on Instagram, but I also have my email that, I don't know if do you want me to say it, or are we gonna?
Yeah, you can give your email.
Okay, so my email is beninmudimba@gmail.com. So it's BENINEMUDYMBA@gmail.com. So that's the content collaboration or anything like that.
Okay, and you cut out right there a little bit at the end, but as I said, we're going to include all of that in the description box anyway.
Okay.
So you guys that want to collaborate with her or see what she's about, please follow her on Instagram. And for those of you that want a community of like-minded women to connect with, let's say that you do feel like you really want the support of people that have a purpose-driven mindset. Because there's a difference between having support of people that will enable you to stay where you are and and people that have a purpose-driven mindset. The level of support that you get is different. So if you're looking for that level of support, I invite you into my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. It's nutrition, the number 4, busy women, and that link will also be in the description box. Join us. And when you do join, you'll have an opportunity to get a complimentary gift as well. So I look forward to participating with you guys. We are not in that group just sitting around looking at what everybody else is doing. Most of us are inspired and encouraged and motivated into action based off of what other people are saying and doing in that group. All right, you guys have an awesome rest of the day wherever you are in the world. Please make sure to share this out with your community, because there are women out there that are struggling and they want to be able to connect with like-minded people but don't know how to do it. So please share this out with them. And for anyone that's interested in sharing their story, refer them my way as well, because as Benine talked about, we often get sucked into showcasing our highlight reel without talking about our real struggles. These are the type of people that I want to connect with and help encourage women all around the world. Benine, thank you so much for taking time out of your holiday to speak with me. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. It's been a pleasure, definitely.
And for those of you that don't know Benine, which most of you probably don't, over the last few days, she actually lost her voice. So it's a miracle that she's actually able to share any kind of gems of knowledge with you today. So thank you. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for
you guys
having me.
Have an awesome rest of the day, and I will talk to you in our next episode.